Big Sills, National Football Show. Appreciate everybody coming aboard. Man, it just seems like the Eagles don't play football in the NFL anymore. Huh? Think about how long this football team has been out. You were on Amazon the last game. You haven't played in a while. And now you're going to be on Monday night and you're coming out of a bye too. Interesting. Donnie says, or is it Danny? Get my glasses on here. Let the trolling begin. Let the trolling begin. Washington around the corner on Monday night. Hey, by the way, by popular demand, I put together a Big Sills mid-season all-pro team with all the teams in the NFL. I got an all-pro team here for you. We'll do that. Also, I want to show you a little bit on who you're playing down the stretch here. The 10th easiest schedule in the National Football League. I want to hit on that. Before we get going, though, please hit the like button. Want to throw this out at you. No wonder Daniel Snyder stepped on the gas pedal a little bit when it came to selling his team. Breaking news just a couple minutes ago. The Attorney General of Washington, D.C. has filed a civil suit against Daniel Snyder, Roger Goodell, and the National Football League for the toxic workplace that they have with the Washington Commanders. Also, the way it's sounding, Daniel Snyder defrauding the community when it comes to hiding profits. So they have put a subpoena out there, and it looks like Daniel Snyder is going to be subpoenaed by the Attorney General for Washington, D.C. I can promise you this, Bruce Allen has to be involved in this in some way. It was a horrible ending to that relationship. He was the president of the organization. There is no question the Washington Commanders are not going to be owned any much longer by Daniel Snyder. And I got to say that that's a great thing for the league. You can't have this going on here. Hey, it's one thing to have John Gruden with racist emails. It's another thing for a guy to defraud his partners. There's no question that the league is cooperating, I would think, with the Attorney General here. The faster you get Daniel Snyder out, the better, in my opinion, for the National Football League. All right. Please hit the like button. Let me ask you guys something here. Just having this conversation. Oh, by the way, Jimmy Johnson's not buying the Eagles. He doesn't believe in you. Well, he thinks you're good, but he went on a local Dallas radio station this morning, and he said, I think they're good, but I'm not 100% sold on them. Interesting. I think that's the national consensus about the Eagles, actually. And I'm going to make a point to you here on this. You guys think Jalen Hurts is a star? You think he's a star? In my opinion, he's not a star. He's working himself towards that, but he's not a star right now. Nobody really looks at the Eagles and gives you guys any kind of credit for being 8-0. They look at it like, hey, you guys, it's a really good start. Now, me, on the other hand, I've picked you to go to the Super Bowl. Just so you know, I've picked. Jalen Hurts is not a star yet. He's not. He's not a star. Not a star. You don't become a star in this league over 8 games and beating Kirk Cousins. What has he done to become a star? Not a star. He's not. Now, again, he's working himself to be. I know many of you don't want to hear this. Nobody looks at Jalen Hurts and goes, that's a superstar player in this league. He's not. He's working himself towards that goal. His team is boring as hell. The Phillies had a higher number. Now, again, it was Amazon. It's Thursday, and it was a shitty opponent, so it's not really fair. That's a World Series game versus an Amazon game on Thursday night. But he's not. Josh Allen's a star. Patrick Mahomes, he's a star. Lamar Jackson is a star. Brady and Rodgers, Russell Wilson. Those guys are all stars in this league. Jalen's not. Some of you don't like to hear that. Now, again, he's getting there. He started the year out. Get this, jersey sales. He's not in the top 10. Nobody know who he was. After 8 games, he's second. You've got to consistently do this to be considered a star in this league. You're never going to make Jalen Hurts the face of the league. He's not Michael Vick. But that's okay. I never thought Troy Aikman was the face of the league. I never really thought Troy was a superstar quarterback. There's just certain guys in this league that are stars. All around sports, you could say he's overrated all you want. He's a star. Is Kyler Murray a star? Yeah. First round draft choice. Only player in the history of baseball and football to be drafted in the first round. Has turned the franchise around in Arizona. What was Arizona before Kyler Murray got there? Nobody. Former Heisman Trophy winner? I don't know. What do you think? Is Christian McCaffrey's a star? Christian McCaffrey's a star, dude. Okay? He's a star. Who cares about the face of the league? What is this guy talking about? Well, I'm going to tell you why you don't get any respect for your 8-0 start. Nobody outside Philly thinks you guys are real. Nobody. The team doesn't get the respect level that it should for being 8-0. I'm on your side here. I'm on your side. I listen to all the shows, rarely talk Eagles. Cowboys, Rams, Bucks, Packers. Hell, they talk more about the Chicago Bears and Justin Fields than they do Jalen Hurts. I watched 3 shows on Fox today. Justin Fields, Josh Allen's elbow. I wrote it down. Not one mention of the Eagles today on any show. ESPN, Fox, nobody is giving you the credit for you being 8-0. Jimmy Johnson said it, so that means it's true. I don't know. Guys built Super Bowl championships. Ships, not one, Howie. But built 3. I don't know. This is comical at best. Really? Okay. We're not the Cowboys. Go look at the history when it gets to the number 1 seed. Our floor is the NFC Championship game. We don't fold, okay? Nobody said you're not a good team. Nobody's giving you the respect. And by the way, I pointed this out yesterday, and it's comical to think that because you have an 8-0 start, you have a star quarterback. You don't. He's playing really good football right now. He's not a star. Not yet. Not yet. Hey, Jimmy G. I don't believe Jimmy G's a star. Even though Jimmy Garoppolo's won a lot of games, I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo's a star. I wouldn't put that there. Joe Buck doesn't definitely like the Birds. Can I tell you why that is? Because Philadelphia and the Eagle 8-0 start, there's not a lot to talk about with the team. There's no drama. That's why the Cowboys are the most watched game every weekend. That's a good thing in a way. It's a good thing. Again, I'm on your side here. I do think Jalen's going to be a star. I do think you're good. Nobody in the country does. Nobody does. Nobody. Yeah, well, I must have missed that, sports. They don't talk about us as much because they don't have the slander to you, Sills. So, do you know what you are, T? Can I tell you what I think the Eagles are? And you tell me if this comparison is fair. The Eagles are the Tim Duncan San Antonio Spurs. You could take that for any way you want. They did win 5 championships. At the end of the day, Tim Duncan won more titles than Shaquille O'Neal did in his career. You're basically the San Antonio Spurs with Tim Duncan. You're not flashy. You have no controversy. There's no talking points. It's not the most entertaining when it comes to 35, 31 games. You just go out and do your job. Wasn't that the theme that Greg Popovich always had for his Spurs? He went like this: do your job. Funny, that's Belichick. You know, outside of Brady, that team was pretty boring too. That team was pretty boring. Michael, thank you. What's wrong with being the San Antonio Spurs? What's wrong with being the Duncan Spurs? Hey, we don't have a lot of shit going around our program like you see in Washington. We don't have a lot of crap going around the room like you see in Green Bay. We just win ball games. We got a quarterback who doesn't care about statistics. He only cares about what? Winning. That's boring. That's boring. But you know who one of my favorite players is of all time? Tim Duncan. No drama, just winning. Look what that guy did for 17 freaking years. Look what that guy did. He just won. End of the day, he had a better resume than O'Neal. Flex, as I told you in training camp, if Hurts throws 200, 300-yard games, we'll go to 9-1, 10-0, and you said absolutely not. Okay, thanks a lot, dude. How many times are we going to revisit that, Flex? How many times, Flex? Okay, I'm wrong. You're one. Congratulations. Take the day off. Okay. I'm making a point why no one's giving you credit. I'm on your side here. I'm not fighting you. I'm not fighting you. All around auto service. The best take comparison you ever said, Big Sills. Flex, I'm kidding, by the way. We're good. You guys are the Spurs. You're not the Chiefs. You're not the Bills. You don't throw for 1 billion yards. You just win games. You're like the Tim Duncan San Antonio Spurs. How much can you really talk about Jalen Hurts, his money, the defense, and the offense on a weekly basis? There's nothing polarizing about the team. That's why you've got people like Jimmy Johnson going, I'm not 100% sold. Why? Because you're not flashy. You don't score a ton of points in the second half. I don't know what that means. If you're killing a team, you're killing a team. Okay? Dan, I was watching your show yesterday, and I got an answer for one of your questions. Let them reserve credit. The team can use humility and motivation. JM, that's my point. The reason you're not getting a lot of love, you're 8-0. Can you imagine the Rams 8-0 or Brady's Bucks 8-0? Kyler Murray got – how about this? Let's go here. Dude, that Cardinal team last year, when they got out to that start, they were talking about Kyler Murray being the most valuable player. They were talking about Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray made $46 million off of being 7-0 last year. Did he not? He made $46 million a year off that fact that he put that team on his back and they were 7-0. Am I wrong? Okay? I've never posted anything anywhere about Tim Duncan except for this, Maniac. I got it. You're kidding. But you know what? He's the most boringest superstar in history. Jalen Hurts is a modern day Tim Duncan. Merrill told T. Gunn that this is the most talented Eagle team of his career covering the Eagles. So if this is the best ever version of the Eagles, why are we questioning their validity? Because they haven't won shit. You can have the most talent on the planet, Anton. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't fulfill its prophecy, it's a waste of talent. You haven't won anything. Nothing. That's why. Questioning the validity? The validity is you haven't won anything. You haven't even won the East yet. I mean, what are you looking for with an 8-0 start? You have won nothing. Nothing. Richie says, Josh Allen hasn't won shit either. Yeah, but I'll tell you what, they look at the Bills as a better team than you. And they look at Josh Allen as a 10-time better quarterback than Jalen. That's not just me. That's the national consensus. This is what I'm trying to make a point. Don't be so freaking sensitive on it. Okay? We will dominate, Sills. Hey, Nick. San Antonio Spurs dominated too. They dominated. They won 5 NBA championships over a string of years. They were always a 60-win team. But how many times did we always do this, though? Watch this. Shit, the Spurs are in the finals again. No one will watch it. How many times did we say that? Oh, my God, not the Spurs again. I have no interest in it. And yet, you know what? At the end of the day, they had the best basketball dynasty in the last 25 years. That includes the Warriors. Now, the Warriors haven't closed the book on their dynasty yet, but they're off to a tough start. That team at San Antonio with Duncan won 5 titles, and no one wanted to watch him. Would you ever consider Duncan a bigger star than Shaq, Kevin Garnett? Absolutely not. When you talk about that era of basketball, Duncan's far down the list of guys that you wanted to watch. He wasn't must-see TV. What did Shaq call him? The big fundamental. It's almost kind of like Jalen. Jalen's Tim Duncan. He's Tim Duncan. That's not a bad thing. You know, Carson Wentz, and I said this to Xander. Carson Wentz is more polarizing than Jalen. Here's why. Again, polarizing doesn't mean, oh, he's good. More people talk about Carson Wentz shitting the bed, never getting his job back, than they do about Jalen Hurts being 8-0. I hear more people talking about it. Okay? Oh, this guy, look what happened. He'll never get his job. Look what's going on. And that's not a story. That's more of a proclamation. Guy's not even playing and you talk about Carson Wentz. Who gives a shit? He sucks. Jalen Hurts, he conducts himself like Tim Duncan. It's not a bad thing because it results in winning. Jalen's not a drama. Hey, let's go here. Did Jalen create any drama at Alabama when he lost his job? No. Did Jalen create any drama when everybody was going back and forth of whether or not to get rid of Wentz when the two were on the roster together? No. When Jalen had a chance to say anything a little out of the line or out of the box when they played each other earlier this year, I have nothing but the greatest respect for the guy. He was a great teammate to me. I enjoyed being around him. You know, Some people look at Kyrie Irving and go like this. This guy, hey, he's lost numerous endorsements. All people could talk about, though, is Kyrie Irving right now. Because Kyrie Irving is a phenomenal basketball player and a polarizing guy. Your team's not polarizing. It's not really interesting. Watch this. We're just good. Kind of takes on the mettle of the city. Right? Some people go like this, Sills, but winning matters the most. Yes, but not when it comes to selling a league. The San Antonio Spurs and Tim Duncan were never the face of the NBA. Shaquille O'Neal, the Lakers, Kobe, Eagle, Colorado, the spat between Shaq and Kobe and Phil, that's what sells newspapers. That's what gets views. Not Jalen going about his business with the 8-0 Eagles. This is why nobody buys you. This is why people are saying this. Are they one and done? Eagles just beating every team on their schedule. I'm going to get to that here in a minute. And I'm going to tell you why you're boring. And again, I'm on your side. I think you should get more respect than what you're getting. See, the thing is different when you got to come through Broad Street in January. You're underestimating how hostile the place can be during playoff time. No, I'm not. I saw it in 17. I saw it in 17. It's a great environment. By the way, Flex, how many sellouts did you have for the Phillies during the regular season? 6, 7? But when you got into the postseason, the city energized that place, didn't it? The bank was energized. How many sellouts did you really have all year with the Phillies? 7? I mean, everyone's like, got to be the greatest home field advantage in baseball history. Sure looked it. Wasn't quite that way during the regular season, though. AJ is box office? Not really. Not really. Not box office. He's box office in Philly for sure. You have nobody on. When you had Michael Vick on your team, think about how many eyeballs you had on the Philadelphia Eagles. Dude, think about this. Michael Vick star versus Jalen star. Now, again, Jalen's young in the process. You're thinking me not calling him a star is me saying I don't think he's good. I didn't say that. Jalen's not quite a star yet, so he can't put the Eagles in the spotlight. Look at Dak Prescott. Well, he's on the Cowboys. If Dak was in Tennessee, no one would give a shit. I agree. I've always said this about Jeter. If Jeter didn't play in New York, he'd be robbing you out. But because you play in those mega markets like that with the big bullseye and the big franchise, and again, it's not a slight at the Eagle franchise. It's a fabulous franchise. It's one of the most historic NFL franchises. You'll never get me saying anything negative about the franchise. In the history of the franchise, some of the greatest legendary players in the history of the sport have gone through that gear. But when you talk about polarizing, they're not. So where are we getting? Not sure what that means. You guys aren't box office. No one's buying you. You're the San Antonio Spurs. Do you like that mantra? You guys are just lunch pail, miner's cap, turn the light on, go to work. Doesn't sell a lot of newspapers. It's not really polarizing. That's why Jalen, he may be in the conversation for the MVP. He ain't winning it. It's not because he doesn't deserve it. Especially if they go undefeated. Hell, if he loses 1 or 2 games, he still should be in it. But he won't. They would give it to Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is box office. They'd give it to Hill before they give it to Hurts. Especially if he gets 2,000 yards. We don't We don't care in Philly. Okay, we'll understand that, though. Understand that. This is why no one thinks you're going to come through and win the Super Bowl. Coach Johnson, I'm going to try to get him on. I got Wantstad tomorrow. By the way, we are working on Bill Romanowski, too. Joe Theismann had to get on an airplane, so hopefully we're going to catch up with Romanowski today. Okay? Everything comes down. Hey, by the way, when you got a franchise quarterback and you're trying to sell tickets, not that the Eagles have to sell tickets. 69.7 is going to roll through that building no matter who the quarterback is. But Kyler Murray sells tickets in Arizona. That's also why he's making $46.1 million. I had a great conversation with a sports writer in Phoenix. He's box office. Anybody could be in that position in Philly. Doesn't matter. You're still going to fill the link. You, of all people, have even told me that. We're the 2021 Milwaukee Bucks. That is another great take. Anton. Jalen Giannis. Giannis is the best player in the NBA right now. Jalen's not the best quarterback in the NFL right now. So I get the take. The Milwaukee Bucks, nobody wants to see the Bucks in the finals. Anton, you got it. How many people do you think want to see the Eagles in the Super Bowl? You know what they want to see in the Super Bowl? They want to see the Chiefs. They want to see the Chiefs versus Brady, Rodgers. Something like that. I want to see the Eagles. They'd rather see Lamar in the Super Bowl than they would Jalen Hurts. Jalen, after 8 games, he's moving the needle. I'm not saying he's not. Again, I'm on your side here. That's who I want to see? No, GT. That's who the American public wants to see. They'd rather see Dak Prescott take on Lamar Jackson in the Super Bowl. Tell me I'm wrong. Ratings dictate that. Or they'd rather see Dak in Kansas City. Tell me I'm wrong. Ratings dictate it. Ratings, views, clicks. That's all people care about today. I don't give a shit about good people. Ask Tim Duncan. When you name some of the greatest players in the history of sports over the last 20 years, Duncan's name will probably be brought up 10th. He's got a better resume than O'Neal. But when you look at, and I'm not saying that Shaq's not better than Duncan. I don't know, man. Probably. That's how America sees things through the binoculars. They look at Jalen Hurts and they go, what a nice story. Here's a kid who was drafted in the second round, is really playing well, and he's really getting better. Then they turn the page. Your team's not very exciting. Sills, what you said is not gold. Okay. Except it is in the ratings. Eagles, Ravens. Lamar Jackson's the star, not Jalen. Do you think there would be viewers with Dallas versus Kansas City or Philly versus Kansas City? What do you think? Okay, Bill Russell versus Wilt. Bill Russell versus Wilt. I don't know. I always thought Chamberlain was the better player. Okay, but the big fundamental, Bill Russell, didn't really score a lot of points, just won championships. When you talk about the greatest team sport champion in American history, people forget Bill Russell. Russell's the greatest team sport champion in American team sport history. And every time you bring up the best players in the NBA, his name's in the top 20. 6'9". 6'9" today? Shit. LeBron's 6'9". That's my point. And here, this is going to go to even more the point. So here's who you're playing the next stretch run here. Haters are going to hate, and the players are going to play. Okay? But don't be upset when people don't give Jalen Hurts an MVP or Darius Slay the Defensive Player of the Year consideration. I had to bring it up to all of you yesterday. Why not Slay for Defensive Player of the Year? Yeah, why not? Gee. And I'm like, Jesus, don't you think that would be in a conversation? It would be if he was a Patriot. Nobody, I think what they're telling you to your face is what you want to hear. But what they truly believe is this. You guys are a one and done. And you get bounced in the playoffs because you'd limited playoff experience. Lane Johnson and Jason Kelsey and Fletcher Cox are not experienced when it comes to your team. There's three dudes. It would be interesting to see which teams has the most international fans. No, it wouldn't. It's Cowboys. Cowboys by far. Cowboys, Packers, Steelers, Eagles. Sure. Eagles will earn respect from me if Hurts puts up big passing numbers against the Giants and Indy. Really? Here, let's go into this. 10th easiest schedule doesn't help the cause on what we're saying here. People are saying you're playing the best football. You know what they're not saying? You're the best team. Is that fair? People today, this is what they say about, listen very closely how people talk about the Eagles. They're playing the best football of any team in the NFL. But they don't say this. They're playing the best team. They're playing the best football of any team, and I think they're the best team in the league. I don't hear national people saying that. Here's who the Eagles – you got the 10th easiest schedule to finish the year. This is who you play. Tyler Heineke on Monday night. Sam Ehlinger. Is that how you say his name? Texas kid? The week after. Then you got Aaron Rodgers. By the way, you see what Fox is doing? Game of the century. Game for decades. The biggest game of the year. Packers and Cowboys Sunday? Listen to the promos on Fox. Hey, it's the game of the year. Legendary franchises. The Packers and the Cowboys. The Packers are 3-6. That's a shitbox game. And you got a team in the Cowboys, you don't really know what you got on offense, but they're promoting it like it's the game of the year. You got Rodgers. Then you have the greatness of Ryan Tannehill. Then you play Daniel Jones. So let me get this right. In the next 5 weeks, here's who you play. Tyler Heineke, Sam Ehlinger, Aaron Rodgers, Ryan Tannehill, and Daniel Jones. Try getting through that gauntlet of star players. Tyler Heineke and Sam Ehlinger are really starting quarterbacks in the NFL. That's mind-numbing. Hey, you're right. Nate Sudfeld should have got a chance a couple of years ago to get a look. If you've got dog shit like that as starting quarterbacks and you're facing them, nobody's going to give you respect for that. Nobody. Beating Tyler Heineke? Sam Ehlinger. Is that how you say his name? I'm hoping. Aaron Rodgers, Ryan Tannehill, Daniel Jones. Hey, then Xander keeps hoping that this kid turns out to be somebody. I don't know, man. I'll tell you what, the last 5 games, he's actually looking pretty good. Then he got Justin Fields. He's picking his game up because you know why? They're coaching him right. They're finally coaching his ass right. Then here's who you have to finish the year. Dak, Christmas Eve. Then after Dak, who's the starting quarterback in New Orleans? Does anyone know? Does anyone know? Where are you going to get respect here? Beating Dak? Probably because the national media. The national media is only circling one game for the Eagles on their way out the door here to try to get into the postseason. They're waiting for 2 games. Your first playoff game and that Christmas Eve game. The rest of them. Then you end the year with Daniel Jones. So let's look at this gauntlet of quarterbacks you have. Tyler Heineke, Sam Ehlinger, Aaron Rodgers, Ryan Tannehill, Daniel Jones, Justin Fields, Dak Prescott, nobody knows in New Orleans, and Daniel Jones. That's who you finished the year with. I mean, dude, hey, if you're not undefeated, you there's a problem. Look at those shitty teams. When someone says to me this, the Eagles are going to be favored, you think? You think? Tyler Heineke, Sam Ehlinger, Aaron Rodgers, Ryan Tannehill, Daniel Jones, Justin Fields, Dak. I don't know who the starting quarterback is in New Orleans. And then Daniel Jones. Hey, that's why no one respects you. It's not your fault. It's the way the media works. You know it's right, and you know I'm right. It's how the media works. God, the Eagles are playing good football. Are they the best team? No. Again, I picked you to play the Bills in the Super Bowl in March. Can't say I didn't. I was probably one of the first guys to say it. Come on, Sills. Everyone is saying the same shit about the schedule is getting old. That's not where I'm at about the Eagles and how I'm talking about perception, Brandon, and why no one really gives you the credit you deserve. I'm actually, again, on your side. Look at this, number 1 in power rankings, and no one talks about you or no one cares. And everyone thinks, well, hey, they'll get bounced in the playoffs. That's why I compared you to the San Antonio Spurs. It's not a bad comparison. It's a winning comparison. It's a championship comparison. It's a no shit comparison. The San Antonio Spurs actually would fit so well in Philly because you know why? They're lunch pail guys. They don't want to have anybody have more credit than the other guy, and it's a team environment. What's wrong with that? So you're not the flashy nickel. So, what do you care? '91 goes, Sills is just using the national media excuse to show his true feelings. So what would that be? Me taking my prediction back that you're going to get to the Super Bowl? I've been saying you're going to get to the Super Bowl for 6 months almost. Can't use that on me. Don't point that shit at me. I said months ago you were going to win a Super Bowl, or not win it. I think you're going to get beat in the game because you don't have the quarterback to beat one of them guys. But I do think you make it. Four TDs isn't flashy? Against who? What 4 TDs? I forget the game he threw them in. Can you help me again? Help me. I must have missed that. Sills, you're running out of content since We still ain't lost. Running out of content. Let me see here. My 6th page, my 7th page, my 8th page, my 9th page. Oh yeah, here my 10. I got 10 pages of content. I never run out of content, ever. I have never in my 33 years of broadcasting run out of content, my friend. Seals actually believes in us. He's just keeping it accountable. Anton, look at Anton. Think of it, and I appreciate that, Anton. Thank you. Think about what I said. They didn't like that I compared them to the Spurs who won 5 titles. Think of that. How ignorant some people are. I compared them to a franchise that's boring, but won 5 titles. I picked them to go to the Super Bowl, and that's not good enough. They want me to sit here like I'm some sort of chick in a skirt with pom-poms waving the Eagle banner. Never happened. Never happened. This is why, again, radio, you got cheerleaders on that thing. I'll tell you the way it is. And what I'm trying to give you is kudos. And I'm saying this, you should take that merit badge and do this. It's us against the world, man. It's us against the world. Nobody believes it. Hey, let me ask you this. I can remember that parade on Broad Street. And what was Jason Kelsey's line? How do you like us now? They had that us against the mentality of the world back then. What's wrong with it now? Nobody believes in us. That's how I'd go around it. We got this? I think you do. 8-0? Are you trying to tell me something I don't know? Actually, we talked about Daniel Snyder, the media, the quarterbacks that you're going to be lining up and playing. I've talked about 6 things already. Bro, see, this one dude here, he only hears what he wants to hear, but that's standard. If I say 3 hours of something, you'll take 5 seconds of what I say, and it was the whole show. It's all good, dude. You could take the day off, brother. If it's so boring for you, take the day off. Brian, at the end of the day, listen what I just did. Listen what I did. I compared the Eagles to the Spurs, who won 5 NBA titles, had one of the greatest dynasties of all time under Greg Popovich. Said Jalen's Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan, I would say Tim Duncan's the greatest power forward in the history of the sport. But I'm a hater. Okay. Really? Oh my God, Jalen's the greatest thing of all time. No. Sports, nobody blocks anybody, man. Unless you're rude and you say some nasty things when it comes to swearing. You denigrate other people. That's how you get blocked here. Not because you have a different take than me. See, I'm a big boy here. We don't hang up on callers. It's always been a mantra of mine. I actually embrace that. Think I want somebody yesing me to death? I hate those people. That's why I married my wife. How you doing? Yeah. Backhanded compliments. Eagle fan, hey, they're just backhanded compliments calling you the Spurs? Okay. Duncan made everybody better. Really? Mr. International. You missed my super chat, Dan. I'm sorry, bro. I apologize, man. Sil's doing the Kirk Cousins dance. I don't have my chains on. Sil's figured out the top button. Actually, Wick, my dog ate it. The Eagles won't go one and done because before the season, our goal was to win one playoff game. After the Bucs lost, now we have higher goals. Okay. Once again, potential, but it's all good. I'm full of it. Which part? I missed it. So you say Hurts is Duncan, but then say I never thought Tim Duncan was a polarizing superstar in the NBA. He wasn't a polarizing star. Every time the Spurs got on TV, everyone went, shit, not the Spurs again. No one will watch. Spurs and Nets? I mean, really? Do you even remember they played in the finals? I'll take that compliment that the Eagles are the Spurs every day, twice on Sunday. Some don't like it because you know why? They want to be the belle of the party. You're not. Nobody thinks that your football team is going to run through the tape. Nobody. I haven't heard one person say the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl. I have not heard one team. I haven't heard anybody in Philly say that yet. They're going to win it. Have some balls. At least I say you're not going to, but you're going to get there. How about somebody saying and having some balls and go on the record? I think they're going to win the Super Bowl. Name me one person who said they're going to win the Super Bowl. Fanatic, Whip, Inquirer. I haven't heard anybody say they're going to win it. I haven't heard anybody say it. JM goes, Vegas has said it. Yeah, because you're 8-0. Start losing ball games, the money will start shifting other places. The money's shifting right now with the Eagles because they're 8-0. Guarantee you that money starts going the other place when it starts getting closer to the playoffs. I lived in Vegas. I know how it works, homie. A few people have the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. Can't recall the names. Oh, okay. Anonymous sources. They must be the Russians. Joaquin, thank you for coming aboard. Yeah. Money's leaving the Bills? Should, because of the injury factor right now. SJ dog mentality, I love it. I've been saying it about to get that Super Bowl tattoo. Oh, 8-0, you're going to get a tattoo? God love you, man. Rich Eisen said that the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl. Okay. Hey, by the way, I put together a mid-season all-pro team. This will be at the top of the hour. So you don't get your respect. And by the way, Jason Kelsey went on WIP today. You know what he even said? Hard for me to talk about going undefeated. That's a Tim Duncan mentality. These guys are talking about going 1-0 every week. They're not looking at the big picture. You shouldn't. Because the big picture sometimes will take you down. You got to worry about the next 60 minutes of football. You got to worry about the Washington Commander things. Even though that's a shitbox organization. Hey, and for the record, look at how well and run your organization is to these two next shitbox organizations you're playing in the next 2 weeks. Daniel Snyder, who runs a brothel in Washington. And then you got the pill popper, Jim Irsay, on the backside of that. Making all these crazy decisions. I can't tell what's going on in Indy. I can't tell how many quarterbacks and coaches you've gone since Andrew Luck. It's been since Chuck Pagano. How many coaches and quarterbacks? Look at the instability in these These two franchises, not that it's your fault, kick their asses. But look at how dysfunctional the next 2 weeks are going to be, keeping your eyeball on the dude. People are talking more about Washington and the shit going on in Washington with the Commanders than they are the Eagles being 8-0. Doesn't that tell you anything you need to know? Legal brothel in D.C. Damn right. It's called the Commanders or whatever they call themselves. Look at that thing. That's perfect for Philly. Go in there, kick their ass, get out, go on to the next nightmare. Kick that team's ass. Jim Irsay will fire whomever next. I didn't realize that Jeff Saturday's the new head coach. I thought he was the interim guy. Irsay's talking like he's the head coach. I'm like, wow, that's remarkable. No coaching experience whatsoever. Eagles' first loss better not be to Jeff Saturday. Hey, Anton, the only way that I think that may happen is because they're laughing so hard that they lose their focus. Dude, all these games that these guys have won, I think you guys have taken this whole, or some of you, not all of you, I think some of you have some brain cells about you. I called you guys the San Antonio Spurs who won 5 championships. Nobody looks at the Eagles and thinks they're going to win the Super Bowl, or very few. Rich Eisen, of course. He now is jumping on the bandwagon here. I've been saying you're going to get to the Super Bowl since March. Funny, nobody in Philly is. Your own hometown. You got a national guy saying that the Eagles are going to win a Super Bowl, but nobody local. They're all going for the ride because they don't believe in Jalen. They like Jalen. He's playing well. How come nobody goes on the line and goes like this? The Eagles are going to win a Super Bowl, and he is the guy. Where's the headlines in the Inquirer on that? Jalen Hurts is the starting quarterback and the franchise quarterback. Shouldn't the headlines with an 8-0 start? I'll tell you this. Dallas Morning News, if Dak Prescott had an undefeated record right now and had a team that the Eagles have, the Dallas Morning News would run headlines. Dak's the best quarterback in the history of the Cowboy franchise. Not in Philly. I already told you he's winning the Super Bowl. Been telling you that for months. Stu goes like this. That's a lot. Whatever, guy. Go back and read them. Go back and watch the shows. I don't have to pull anything up again. It's documented. It's documented. Whatever, Stu. I don't give a shit if you believe it, actually. The hate for Jalen? What hate? Big, tell me what I said that's hate for Jalen. What is in this whole hour, where did I say hate? Where did I have one moment of hate for him? Bills, I've been saying Bills, Eagles, Super Bowl since March. Xander, maybe Stu's right. Maybe it's May. Maybe May. He may be right. Maybe May. Josh Allen not winning a Super Bowl this year. Too many turnovers. Bills winning it, right? Yeah. He thinks Bills. I do think Bills. It's 8-0. I do. Bills are done. You've clowned him your whole existence. No. I've said this about Hurts. Not sold on him. 8 wins. And then the gauntlet of guys, Tyler Heineke, Sam Ellinger, Aaron Rodgers, Ryan Tannehill, Daniel Jones, Justin Fields. Look at these gauntlet of teams. Let's see if there's any winning teams here that you guys are playing. Let's see how many winning teams you're playing way out the door. You've played 2 so far, correct? In 8 games, you've played 2 winning teams. Let's see how many winning teams you have right now on the schedule. Washington, no. Indy, no. Packers, no. Tennessee, yes. Giants, yes. Chicago, no. Cowboys, yes. New Orleans. You're playing 3 teams that have winning records. So you'll play 5 teams this year with winning records. Yeah, love it. Prescott is a good quarterback, and Sills, Prescott hasn't done shit either. I agree. I think, hey, William, I've said this, and I'll say it again to you. Sports goes, Hurts will never throw for 4K. He hasn't. I said this, my friend, if Dak Prescott doesn't beat Jalen Hurts on Christmas Eve, I think the Cowboys should move off his ass. What's he done? Where are you going with him? You got $45 million a year tied up in that guy. What in the world and where in the world are you going? Okay? You got the 10th. That's not true. Look at the guys you're playing. Hold on here. Let's take a look at that. I'm going to do one more time, and I'm not going to bring this up again. The Buffalo Bills schedule. Let's take a look at one thing here with the Buffalo Bills, okay? And let's take a look at the quarterbacks. Let me do it one more time here. Here's who you're finishing with, the 10th easiest schedule in the league. Tyler Heineke, Sam Ellinger, right? Aaron Rodgers, Ryan Tannehill, Daniel Jones, Justin Fields, Dak, whoever has the job in New Orleans, I don't know. And you finish up again with Daniel Jones. Here's the quarterbacks the Bills have played. They played Matt Ryan, Russell Wilson, Matt Stafford, Tua Tagovailoa, Lamar Jackson, and 1. Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers. You got the Vikings this week. And you guys have played, let me see. Jared Goff, I'm going to write these down. Let me see. For the 8-0 start, let's see. This is really interesting. I never thought about the quarterback play that you're playing against. Goff, Trevor Lawrence, Cousins, Wentz, Murray, Cooper Rush, K1, and who's the guy with the Texans? Who's the guy with the Texans? What's his name? Is it David Mills? David Mills. So let's take a look at this season for the Eagles. Wait till next year. It is going to be a gauntlet of quarterbacks that you're going to be playing. So you're going to play this year. Jared Goff, Trevor Lawrence, Carson Wentz, Kirk Cousins. Okay, Kirk's having a good year. Let me circle that. Kyler Murray, rich guy. Cooper Rush. David Mills. Tyler Heineke. Sam Ellinger. Ryan Tannehill. Daniel Jones. Justin Fields. Nobody in New Orleans. Dude, the only guy you play is really Aaron Rodgers and Kirk Cousins. And you're 8-0. Now I see why people are saying I don't believe him. I'm not 100% sold. I get it. Holy cow, man. The greatness of, so let me get this right. In the last 2 weeks, in the next 3 weeks, you would have played David Mills, Tyler Heineke, and Sam Ellinger before you get to Rodgers, a true NFL quarterback. Let me have that sink in again. David Mills, Tyler Heineke, and Sam Ellinger in the next 3 weeks. Whew. Oh, I forgot the greatness of Kenny Pickett. Trevor Lawrence, got to pick it up. Look at this. Richie, you better, you better be good than these guys. You better beat Sam Ellinger, David Mills, and Tyler Heineke. You guys are trying to get medals for beating nobodies. And those teams are run by nobodies. They're bad teams with bad quarterbacks. We're 10-0. And no one believes it. You want us to forfeit? No. That's why, again, I came out today defending you on why people are saying this about you. They look at the same shit I look at. They ain't playing anybody. They're not playing against elite quarterbacks. They're not playing against elite guys. We'll see. Dak's got to win Christmas Eve. He's got a lot of pressure on his ass too. David Mills, who gives a shit what his name is? Could be Sam Mills. I don't care what it is. Mills. Tom Mills. Okay. The company that makes cookies. I don't care what Mills it is. Rodgers is washed? Maybe. Still a pro quarterback. Josh Allen not going to the Super Bowl. Okay. All right, let me move off this. Try giving you guys compliments. Sills will have his cowboy helmet up on Christmas Eve. Not true. Absolutely not true. Absolutely. All right. Big Sills, midway point of the season, all-pro team. These are the guys that I think have played the best football in the National Football League so far to the midway point of the season. How many of your favorite players are on this list? We'll do that next. Please hit the like button. Hour number 2. Keep it here on the National Football Show.